So Logan Lucky, I really did like it. I think it's a great heist movie. Any heist movie, they've got to make you empathize a bit with the robbers and root for them just a little bit. This movie, you root for them 100%. You can even say they're pouring it on a little thick at how likable they want to make these robbers, but Channing Tatum and Adam Driver do such a great job, it's okay. And in some ways, the heist they pull off, at first it sounds outlandish and unrealistic, but I actually thought this movie had great realism, right down to where the money of the rich people is always insured. So sometimes what's unrealistic in these heist movies is they steal the money from the rich assholes, and the rich assholes are ruined and now they have no money. But no, this is much more realistic where the money's always insured, and because they rigged the system, even if you rob from these rich people, they get even more money from the insurance. So it's like you can be Robin Hood and rob from the rich and give to the poor, and you can do the give from the poor part, but you can't really take from the rich. It's just going to end up helping them more. And this was a surprisingly effective satire of modernity, and it pokes fun at things like dependence on technology. At one point, he's like, yeah, I don't really like cell phones. She looks at him and she's like, you one of those Unabomber types? And it's just comical. And then I really like, there's this little interview that the guy's giving, and he's talking about how my body, it's like a computer, a finely tuned computer, and I got to make sure the software, that's the food I put into it, is clean software. And it's just parroting like TED Talks and buzzwords and these kind of nonsense analogies people use. And also kids and hypersexualization of youth culture. At one point a boy is like, did you know Rihanna's song Umbrella? It's really about her, you know what? I don't even know if that's true, maybe I'm just out of the loop. And one other touch I really loved is at one point, the warden's talking to the prisoners, and they love Game of Thrones. They want the latest Game of Thrones, and that's totally true. And just a tremendous cast. Daniel Craig playing a totally different role. He's this meathead convict guy, and the movie's worth watching just for his performance. It's fantastic. Roy is in this from The Office, playing basically the same role. Seth MacFarlane, you're not going to recognize him. I didn't realize until I looked up who was in the movie. He is hilarious as this cartoonish European capitalist villain. And then Katherine Waterston's in this. She's probably one of my least favorite actresses. I hated her in the new Harry Potter and the new Alien, but she was pretty good in this, I must say. And a lot of people said they complained that she had a small role, but I think her role was great. It was a movie that was really showing just the degradation in our culture and how bad things have gotten, and she was just this kind of lonely ray of light and goodness, and I didn't mind her having a small role because I think that was what she wanted to represent, just that there are good people in the world still, you just got to look for them, and I think she pulled that off. And then the warden was actually played by Dwight Yoakam. He's a singer. He never really gets credit. If you look up the cast, he almost never shows up in these movies, but he was great in this, and he's from Wedding Crashers. In that opening scene, that iconic scene where they're mediating the divorce, he's the guy who's getting divorced in that, so I really liked him being in it. And I actually really liked the message and the politics of this movie. At first I didn't. I felt like they were throwing in things like beauty pageants, NASCAR, but then also social media and technology and hypersexualization, and then also people being denied healthcare coverage and chemical leaks and this kind of corporate malfeasance, and they were just throwing all these things as if they were all kind of linked in the same, but then I realized it wasn't. It was basically saying that the South in particular, for all its honor and kind of this old Southern culture, it's kind of lost its way a bit, and all these different factors, they're not all the same people that are doing all these things, but they're all part of this culture now, and they all kind of are bad, and we should stop. And this really sweet moment at the end where his daughter's singing Sweet Home Alabama instead of Rihanna's Umbrella, it was just kind of symbolic of how the South has lost its way, but maybe could find its way again.